Hello, everyone. Welcome to another JPNN. It is April 15th. We've got some news. We've got a cool story as well about Elden Ring. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Someone made a comment the other day on YouTube that every intro is about 20 seconds in, so they know exactly where to skip. That was a 20-second intro. Who knew? Who knew? Let's move in to the news. The SOC Investment Group released a letter asking Activision Blizzard shareholders to vote against Microsoft's purchase. Part of the letter reads, "Dear Activision Blizzard shareholders, we urge you to vote against items 1, 2, and 3, which would approve the proposed merger between Activision Blizzard Inc. and Microsoft at Activision's special meeting on April 28, 2022 for two reasons. Number one, this transaction fails to properly value Activision and its future earnings potential, in significant part because it ignores the role that the sexual harassment crisis and the Activision board's incompetent handling of it has played in delaying product releases and depressing the share price. Number two, we are skeptical that any transaction with Microsoft or a similar acquirer would be viable, given the shift in the climate of antitrust enforcement, as well as evident sources of potential harms to competition stemming from the merger." The letter concluded in saying, "We do not believe that Activision shareholders should be looking to a transaction to rebuild the value lost by Activision's management failure to ensure workplace safety and equity, and by the board's failure to respond constructively to the burgeoning crisis." We'll see what happens on old April 28th when this goes down. GameIndustry.biz has more information about that in the full article. You can find the letter over at investor.activision.com. A little bit of a weird story, but we're going to try to report on it anyways. Club Penguin was a thing that was shut down, I believe, a while back, but there is Club Penguin Rewritten, which is a fan-made successor to the popular social app Club Penguin, which was set up in 2017, the same year as the original Club Penguin shut down. And now the fan-made successor has been shut down and taken over by UK police following an alleged takedown request served by the site's original owner, Disney. The project's official Discord has been purged of messages, with just one left from the admin that says, "CP Rewritten," never use the acronym CP, "is shutting down effective immediately due to a full request by Disney. We have voluntarily given control over the website to the police for them to continue their copyright investigation." A message on the Club Penguin Rewritten website also states that the site has been taken over by the City of London's police IP crime unit. Following a complaint under copyright law, the PIPCU has seized a gaming website as part of an ongoing investigation into the site, DC Daryl Fryatt said. 3 people were arrested on April 12th on suspicion of distributing materials infringing copyright, and the searches were carried out. They have been released under investigation, and to aid with the police investigation, they agreed to sign over the website to the control of the PIPCU. Weird, wild, insane thing. I don't even know what happened on Club Penguin. It's a social media website or a social site, but I have no idea apart from that. Yesterday, CDPR revealed in a financial call that Cyberpunk 2077 has sold over 18 million copies to date. This is up from the 13.7 million copies at the beginning of 2021. The Witcher franchise, get ready for this, has sold over 65 million copies, 40 of which were from The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. Absolutely insane. It also picks up, in terms of milestones, this was outside of the financial call. In 2015, of June 2015, sold 6 million. A year later, nearly 10 million. 3 years later after that, 20 million. And then I think around the time that The Witcher hits Netflix, it skyrockets to around 30 million, and season 2 around 40 million. Kind of crazy. No wonder we're getting Witcher 4. It seems that game is still selling very, very well, albeit at a lower rate, but still incredibly well. They also announced, as we move on to more gaming news, that Cyberpunk's 2077's upcoming expansion will arrive in 2023, according to their Twitter account. As it was mentioned in CG Project Red Investor Relations financial call moments ago, they tweeted, Cyberpunk 2077's upcoming expansion will arrive in 2023. Please stay tuned for more details coming later this year. See what that looks like. In the This Week at Bungie post, which is a big post that Bungie does if you're not familiar with the Destiny 2 community, they revealed some details on the upcoming rotator system. And they said, we're breaking up our new rotator system into seasonal and weekly categories so that players can have a little additional freshness when taking on the weekly hunt for power. For the seasonal rotation, they posted each season, the newly released raid and dungeon will grant pinnacle rewards for all encounters. As an example, in Season 17, Vow of the Disciple and the upcoming Redacted dungeon. Outside of these, we'll have a raid rotator and a dungeon rotator, each offering a pinnacle reward once completed. For weekly rotations, on the other hand, they will feature every raid and dungeon that isn't in the seasonal rotation. This means you can take on almost any challenge you want for these rewards. The weekly rotation will only reward players with a pinnacle drop after completing the final encounter of a dungeon or raid. And the weekly rotation, this particular inclusion, will have a chance to feature all raids and dungeons not listed on the seasonal rotation. More details on the system. Find more information on the upcoming update. Head over to bungie.net/en/news. Destiny continues. I wonder how the community is feeling about those changes. I'm sure they're letting everyone know over on Reddit. Speaking of Bungie, let's talk about Halo Infinite. Not really. The Season 2 launch will be happening on May 3rd. They released a video previewing Catalyst and Breaker maps, which will be launching alongside Season 2. In the blog post, they say, Season 2 of Halo Infinite, Lone Wolves is almost upon us. Among the new additions in Lone Wolves are new story elements, new armor, cosmetics, new maps, modes. As we draw closer to release on May 3rd, we're going to be taking a closer look at the upcoming content. Starting with 2 brand new maps, we'll be playing Catalyst and Breaker. Definitely go check out those videos of the maps if you are looking to see what's going on in the world of Halo Infinite. No More Heroes 3 has announced that it will be coming this fall to PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. The official announcement reads, our favorite otaku assassin returns. Travis Touchdown has been forced out of retirement to defend not only Santa Destroy, but Earth itself. Bring on the Beam Katana and take on Travis's toughest challenge yet in hashtag No More Heroes 3 coming this fall. I didn't play that. I think that was a Switch exclusive for the longest time, right? I recall. Speaking of Switch, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles has sold over 500,000 copies worldwide. They tweeted out, thank you to all our passionate fans who have made this game a great success, they added. You guys remember Babylon's Fall? Well, not many people do. It's recorded a new low as it has fallen below 10 concurrent players on PC for the first time. Game tracking site Steam chart shows only 8 players booted up Babylon's Fall on Steam during one point on April 13th. Whew, that is rough. What kind of game is it? It's a ongoing game. It's a live service game with 10 people playing it. Exceed Games has announced their lineup for PAX East 2022, which will run from April 21st to the 24th at the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. The lineup will include a new survival game called Deadcraft, Melon Journey, Bittersweet Memories, Potionomics, and Rune Factory 5 for the Switch. You can find more details over at Gematsu.com for that article. I wonder what PAX East is going to really feature. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of new games there. I wonder if anyone will IRL stream the show floor of PAX East. That might be something to tune into. I'd kind of just be curious to see what that looks like. I'll keep an eye out. Saints Row will be having an, quote, ultimate customization showcase on April 20th. They have tweeted. They say, we've got something that's going to knock your customized socks off. Set your reminders to see how to hashtag be your own boss with hashtag Saints Row Ultimate Customization Showcase. Weird. The Center for Computing History, that's right, there's a Center for Computing History, not computer history, announced a special event to offer a look back at the classic N64 game, Goldeneye, and celebrate the game's 25th anniversary. That's right, 25 years, you're old. The event, which takes place on May 7th, 2022, brings together 3 members of the original dev team, including Martin Hollis, Dr. David Doak, and Brett Jones. The trio will talk about all things Goldeneye, from the struggles of development all the way up to release. There will also be an interactive exhibit for fans to check out, which will give attendees a look at the development documents, concept art, promotional items, and a look at the unreleased remake of Goldeneye for the Xbox 360. GoNintendo.com has more information on that if you want to check it out. Here's my favorite news story of the day as it pertains to Elden Ring. The other day, someone posted, I believe it started on Reddit, about a Elden Ring player by the name of Let Me Solo Her. The name, Let Me Solo Her, refers to Melania as the, quote, her, who of course is the optional late game boss known to be as one of the hardest fights in the Souls history, and definitely Elden Ring. So, Reddit user Cz813, after getting his ass kicked by Melania around 20-30 times, decided to go co-op and summoned Let Me Solo Her without knowing who the player was or what was going to happen. The Kotaku article continues and said that Let Me Solo Her's attire was that he was completely naked, except for underwear and a jar on their head. He wields 2 katanas, the Rivers of Blood, and what appears to be an Uchigatana, and, like the name suggests, literally soloed Melania, beating her without taking any lethal damage. He was flawless and put all my attempts to shame, Cz813 wrote after the encounter. I definitely didn't kill Melania, but either way, she is dead. It's pretty insane because after this was posted on Reddit, this is me kind of riffing on this story. A bunch of people know who this person is. And he's going in there doing the entire fight without getting hit a single time. There is like fan bases around this guy. They've printed 3D sculptures about the character, the legend of Let Me Solo Her. He's got fan art. He's got a whole bunch of fans on the internet. I think it's a pretty badass story, to be honest. That this guy just sits there and straight up solos Melania, both phase 1 and phase 2 with 2 other people in, which you have to remember, she has extra HP when you summon people like that. He's just going in there and fucking destroying her. Just outright demolishing her. Kotaku has the full story. If you want to check that out, you can also go over to the Elden Ring subreddit and partake in some of the fan art and or the original story if you want. Awesome stuff. Good for that guy. Giga Chad himself. Pedro Pascal, who of course is the Mandalorian actor and will be playing Joel in the upcoming TV adaptation of The Last of Us, has revealed that he deliberately is not experiencing too much of The Last of Us game in case it affected his preparation. He explains that he also doesn't have enough skill to play the game, so he watched his nephew playing it instead. He says, I watched it for as long as I was able to that day, and then I had to leave Florida, he recalled. I found Joel so impressive. I found the whole of it such a visually impressive experience. And then I got worried that I would want to imitate too much, which I think could be right in some circumstances, and then a mistake in others. So I wanted to create a healthy distance, and for that to be more in the hands of Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. He also hinted that the show may not follow the exact plot of the game, saying, quote, there's a very, very creative way of honoring what's important and also what's preserving what is iconic to the experience of the video game, and also to include things you wouldn't necessarily expect. And then directions you would expect it to go, it might not. They're doing some really smart things, is all I can say. We'll see how that goes. Full interview over at videogameschronicle.com. I don't know where the interview came from outside of that, but that's where the story that we're citing comes from. For my own interest, Pedro Pascal might be one of my favorite actors at the moment. Really excited to see what he does with Joel in The Last of Us, and I'm very excited that he is who will be portraying Joel. Seems like a good guy all around. Jumping into a little bit of rumors here, Jeff Grubb on his show Grub Snacks. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. Here's reporting that this year's Need for Speed title will adopt a, quote, photorealistic art style mixed with anime elements. He says directly, quote, it's going to be photorealistic, but it's going to have on top of that anime elements. You know, when you see a car commercial or something like that and the car's driving around, but then cartoon flames and stuff are flying off? That's the kind of aesthetic they seem to be going for. Autolog is back for multiplayer, and you can customize all the pieces of your car. That's back as well. He also claimed that the game would be set in a fictionalized version of Chicago called Lake Shore City. Criterion wants to make it feel like a real city, even though it's a fictionalized version of the city, he says. Video Games Chronicle has more on that, or you can just go straight to the source over at Grub Snacks. We've also got some other stuff here. Amid speculation that Sony may have acquired Kojima Productions following Death Stranding's inclusion in a promotional banner for PlayStation first-party studios, as well as Hideo Kojima tweeting out the mentioned banner. Kojima would go on to clarify and state later, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but Kojima Productions has been and will continue to be an independent studio. Jeff Grubb, once again, industry insider, said that those plans. In July last year, Microsoft and Kojima had signed a letter of intent stating they plan to work together on the new Xbox game. They're still in place. It says, as of a couple weeks ago, the Xbox and Kojima deal was still on. This isn't based on information I had last year. This is more recent than that. This is still on. Does this mean that PlayStation couldn't have acquired Kojima Productions? Not necessarily. We'll see if anything comes from that over the next couple of weeks. E3 could be an exciting time for some big announcements. Of course I say E3. It's the royal E3, motherfuckers. Of course I mean Summer Game Fest, June, whatever. Get off of it. Finally, according to Fightful Select, the all-elite wrestling video game titled AEW Fight Forever is set to be released in September 2022, although an official date is yet to be confirmed. The game is being developed by Yuke's, who previously developed a number of games in the WWE franchise dating back to SmackDown vs. Raw. Report claims that the, quote, tentative release date for AEW game is September, and that has successfully secured a publishing partner. Previously, Kenny Omega has said that this game will launch in 2022. Maybe we should just call it Summer Jeff Fest? I don't know. It's going to take a while for me to get E3 out of my brain. It just is. It is what it is. That's going to do it for the news. Thanks everyone so much for watching. We will see you guys on Monday for a little bit more news. As always, feel free to drop a like on the video, perhaps a subscription on the YouTube channel, and if you're really feeling it, a comment out there for that age-old algorithm. We're out of here. Thank you so much. We'll see you Monday for more. Bye-bye.